us, one of the biggest things to do to go out and test our question is to first you have to look at what's been done before and what kind of information is known. So we look at previous studies and that have evaluated the impacts of other exotic plants, maybe in a different location, and then we decide how we might be able to design a study in our area that is very similar, because it's important in research that you use methods that can be repeated on down the line by other researchers. Perhaps somebody watching this video will want to repeat what we've done, so it needs to be something that can be tested over and over again. What we would do when we ask the question, how is an invasive plant affected forest in, say, the state of Georgia, we would actually go out and clear the exotic plant from the forest, and then we would keep part of the forest as it was, what we call a control, and then that way we can actually ask the basic question, how are insects or pollinators in our case different in the cleared forest versus the control forest where no exotic plant has been removed. So we were really interested in figuring out the difference in plots that had the exotic species remaining and the plots that didn't. And so the easiest thing for us to use to test that for pollinators is to use what's called a pan trap. Insects are highly attracted to different color traps because they're attracted to different color flowers. So basically the traps we use are like surrogates, or take the place of flowers. So what we would do is we would go out and we would put the traps in the control plots that had the exotic species, and we would put them in the plots where we had removed the exotic species. And what we would do is we would go out after a week and we would collect these traps, and we would come back and we would sort and identify the pollinators that we collected. That way we could test the differences in the two plots, and that way we could see what effect the exotic plant was having on insect populations. When we first asked our big question about what effect would exotic plants have on native species of insects, specifically pollinators, we actually expected, because of the number of exotic plants, a lot of these areas are so thick with this plant that you can't even walk around. There's no native wildflowers, no native shrubs. So what we expected to find was that there would be a huge reduction in both numbers of pollinators, which are bees and butterflies, and also diversity of pollinators. And actually that's what we found. We found that after we went and placed our traps out in the woods and we collected the pollinators, we actually found that we had a tenfold decrease in diversity and a threefold increase in the total numbers of pollinators. And that's kind of what we expected to find.
Visit the Natural Enquirer website for more information. There you can learn more about how to plan to test your question.